to Studio Sri Lanka.
Hello, good evening. Coming to you live from the National News Studio. This is the news. Welcome to the news. My name is Clifford Richards.
And I'm Hishain Ali. Let's have a look at the headlines for tonight.
The President invites local exporters to rebuild and thrive on a robust economic foundation. Cases filed against traders in PETA who sold rice at high prices. The Prime Minister's assurance of not to leave aesthetic subjects from the new educational reforms. Investigations on MPs who received and insurance coverage during the Aragale period. Preliminary round of the Rupavahini 2025 begins tomorrow. An aircraft crashes into a busy highway in Brazil.
On to those and others in detail, and your top story for tonight is President Anurakkumara Dissanayake invited Sri Lankan exporters to rebuild and thrive on a robust economic foundation.
Well, the President emphasized that the government is prepared to provide assistance that's for the recovery based on the current economic stability. President Anurakkumara Dissanayake made these remarks at the 26th Presidential Export Awards ceremony at the BMICH yesterday. The ceremony was organized by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board. The main objective of the award ceremony is to recognize exporters who have made significant contribution to the economic development of Sri Lanka. The Presidential Export Award presented by the President is the highest honor for Sri Lankan exporters who have made significant contribution to the export sector and economic development. The President emphasized the critical importance of the trust placed in Sri Lanka by international economic stakeholders to stabilize the country's economy. He noted that the global market economy is interconnected, not entirely independent. The primary challenge facing Sri Lanka is securing a substantial share of the market amidst the current global division of markets and the ongoing competition to reclaim market shares. The President noted that the global market has become an interconnected network. He emphasized that in order for the country to become a key participant in this market, it must engage in trade agreements that are beneficial to Sri Lanka. He cautioned that aggressive, reckless approaches to market penetration would not be successful, stressing the need for strategic, thoughtful engagement. The government is already taking steps to provide the necessary technical support for Sri Lankan exporters to enter the market with high-quality products. He highlighted the government's focus on supplying new goods and services in response to global changes in line with international market trends. Regarding the reduction of the electricity bills, the President mentioned that the government is prioritizing renewable energy sources to maintain long-term stability in energy costs. Efforts are underway to lower costs and ensure stable pricing over the next few years. Sri Lankan exporters have been invited to unite in strengthening the economy, stressing the importance of collaboration and mutual understanding to navigate the challenges of economic recovery and growth effectively.
ඒ සඳහා අපි ප්‍රමුඛතම අවධානය යොමු කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපිට අපේ නිෂ්පාදන පිරිවැය අඩු කර ගැනීමේදී අපේ බලශක්ති ශාස්ත්‍රය වැදගත්. මෑතකදී විදුලි බිලේ අඩුවීම පිළිබඳව ඔයගොල්ලෝ සතුටටපත් වෙනවා. හැමක් හැටියට රඳා පවත්වා ගන්නේ කොහොමද? අපේ ස්ථාවර මිල මට්ටමකට අපේ විදුලි නිෂ්පාදනය ඇති කරගන්න සමත් වුණොත් විතරයි. එහෙම නැත්නම් වහිනකොට අඩු වෙන පායනකොට වැඩි වෙන විදුලි පිටකෙන් අපේ කර්මාන්ත පද්ධති ස්ථාවර කරගන්න බැහැ. ඒ නිසා විශේෂම ගත්තොත් අපේ පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්ති ශාස්ත්‍රය පිළිබඳව අවධානය යොමු කරලා අපිට වරදින කුඩා හෝ වැරදීමක් ආර්ථිකයට මරුපහරක් ගෙන බව දැන අපි දැනගන්න. එවැනි ආර්ථිකයක අපි මේ කටයුතු කරමින් තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඔබතුමාලා විසින් මට ඒක ලිපි තියෙනවා, ඉල්ලීම් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ලිපි ඉල්ලීම් මා කිව්වේ අපිට අර අත්තිවාරම බිඳවට නැතුව අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කළ යුතුයි. ශක්තිමත් අපේ ආර්ථිකය නගා සිටීම සඳහා වැඩපිළිවෙලක අපි නිරත වෙලා තිබෙනවා. අන්නේ වැඩපිළිවෙලේදී අපි එක්ව එක් කණ්ඩායමක් ලෙස අපි වැඩ කරමු කියලා මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
Minister Sunil Handunethe said discussions are underway with the banking sector with the objective of creating concept of development banking. The Bank of Ceylon, the People's Bank and other state banks will take the initiative in this regard through collaboration of the governor of the central bank. The countries in the region, namely Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand and South Korea have achieved rapid development through the establishment of development banks. Therefore, Sri Lanka should take steps to provide more opportunities for exporters in the times ahead via the development bank concept.
Raids to catch traders who sell rice at higher prices continue. Officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority had apprehended several such traders in raids conducted in Petta, Colombo yesterday, and legal action is to be taken against the culprits. The officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority had deployed numerous strategies to apprehend the errant traders. They also looked into whether these traders were selling rice at the controlled price. Steps have also been taken to file court action against a shop which sold nadu rice at prices above the control price and also against shops which failed to display price lists.
The government reiterates that the Clean Sri Lanka program is an extensive program which seeks close collaboration of the general public in all sectors. Well, this was disclosed at a media briefing at the Government Information Department today. Senior Additional Secretary to the President on Financial and Economic Affairs, GMRD Aponsu, said that the road safety is assured when pedestrians cross the road using the zebra crossings and drivers following road rules. It should be the people who should do the changes. City development and city designing take time to reap its success, as it is a systematic process that should not harm the business or traders. Director General Marine Environmental Protection Authority Jagat Gunasekara says that the Clean Sri Lanka is an initiative where countries' development should be enforced by people itself through understanding the attitudinal change. There are various initiatives enforced to protect the beaches of the country, such as preventing beach erosion and management of sea waste, affecting of the marine life and nature. People should not be afraid that through Clean Sri Lanka program, people's daily incomes would be affected. This is a program for the benefit of the people. Additional Secretary to the President, Clean Sri Lanka program, SPC Sugishwara, says that Clean Sri Lanka program is going ahead with the rest of the programs of the government. The people tend to hear of programs that stall after some time. However, an assurance could be given that Clean Sri Lanka is a program presented by the government and the President to rebuild the nation. Changes could be made through continuation. The government had made all plans in a methodical manner for the success of the program. Funds have been allocated through the budget. There is a great interest in the private sector as well towards the project. Even foreign communities are getting involved in the program. Discussions have been conducted with the overseas ambassadors as well, obtaining assistance, and they have responded positively.
And in the meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says that the subjects aesthetic studies, health and physical education will not be removed by any means from the new educational reforms. She has made these remarks today at a discussion held at the Temple Trees to enlighten to the new educational reforms to be implemented from next year. The meeting has dealt in depth on the measures on how new educational reforms are to be implemented, overcoming the existing shortcomings in the education system. Other issues that came under discussion included revision of syllabuses and subject content, as well as on the infrastructure development in schools. It has also been emphasized on the need of reconstruction of evaluation methodologies and also on the changes to be made in teacher training and attitudinal development. All participants have arrived at a consensus on educational reforms based under the theme of Transforms Education and Transform Sri Lanka. MPs and ministers and officials of the Ministry of Education and the Department of Examination have taken part in this discussion. Ambassador Indira Manipande, Secretary General of BIMSTEC, paid a courtesy visit to the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, at the Prime Minister's office recently. The discussions focused on key areas of collaboration including health, human resource development and digitalization, where Sri Lanka has played a leading role. It has also focused attention on Sri Lanka's continuous contribution. President of the Japan Nippon Foundation, Yuhei Sasakawa, has also met Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya recently. The Prime Minister has extended the gratitude on the contributions being made by the Japanese government on the Clean Sri Lanka project. Special focus has also been made on the school reconstruction and hospital development projects. Another issue discussed was the projects being supported by the Nippon Foundation Trust, and Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Akio Isomata, also took part in the talks.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that investigations will commence on the former parliamentarians who received unrestricted compensation under the cover of insurance, stating that their houses were set on fire during the Aragalaya period. All relevant information regarding such receipt of funds has been revealed, and the minister has made these remarks at the occasion of opening the new plastic surgical treatment unit at the Peradeniya Teaching Hospital today. Well, the plastic surgery unit has come into being through financial sponsorship of a philanthropist. The minister, upon declaring open the unit, was engaged in an inspection tour of the hospital. He was accompanied by Deputy Minister Dr. Hansaka Vijayamuni and Director General of Health Services Dr. Arjuna Tilakaratna. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says that at the time of assessment of compensation, the relevant divisional secretaries and evaluation officials were summoned to Parliament. They were convened according to a letter of the then Chief Government Whip, Prasanna Ranatunga. The officials took part in the assessment were reported to have told media that they were duly influenced to record higher assessments. Under current legislation, an ordinary person contracted by the natural calamity would not be able to receive a justifiable compensation under the existing circulars. However, 43 former MPs and ministers were able to receive compensation from 500,000 rupees to 9.8 million rupees. Well, this is also talk of these politicians receiving insurance coverage also in addition to the compensation payments. If the movable and immovable property value of these politicians was in the range between 70 to 90 million rupees, then such property values should be reflected through their assets and liability statements. Well, moving on with more local stories, the preliminary stage of the competition to select the Banita Rupavahini Aurudu Kumari of the Rukirula 2025 contest will be held at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation premises. That's tomorrow.
Indeed, and large numbers of young beauties have forwarded applications for this year's competition as well.
දෙදස් හය වසරේ ජාතික රූපවාහිනී අවුරුදු කුමාරි තරගයෙන් මම දෙවනි ස්ථානය දිනා ගන්නවා.
ඒ හින හැබෑ කරගන්න අපි හැමෝටම හොඳ අත්වලක් ඕනේ. මගේ හින හැබෑ වුණේ 2018 අවුරුද්දේදී.
2019 ජාතික රූපවාහිනී අවුරුදු කුමාරි. ඒ දවස එදා වගේම අදට හරිම සුන්දර අත්දැකීමක්.
මම චාමිනී අනුරාධා 2023 රූපවාහිනී අවුරුදු කුමරිය වුණේ මම.
The Rupavahini Aurudu Kumari competition is to be conducted in parallel to the Sri Lanka Piri Aurudu Siri Bakmaha festival. More than 15,000 applications have been received. Out of this number, 1,500 applicants have been selected for tomorrow's preliminary round. All rounds of contest are to be conducted under the supervision of a board of veteran judges. Only 12 applicants will be shortlisted for the final round.
Moving on with more local stories. Now, this is a mammoth catch of fish, a giant fishing net that's laid on the Ahongalla seabelt in Balapitiya was reported to have fetched a massive fish harvest of nearly 3,000 kilos of big travel eyes type this afternoon. Well, fishermen say that the value of the catch is around 2 million rupees. The fish stock was prepared to be brought to the Palyaguda fish market as well.
And moving on, a special subcommittee comprising of 8 members under the Ministerial Advisory Council has been appointed to identify the policy changes required for state service. The task of the committee includes conducting investigations on the relevant factors and to provide the necessary suggestions to the Ministerial Advisory Council. The Advisory Council on Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government has met under the leadership of Minister AHMH Abiratna in Parliament recently. The subcommittee appointed at this instance is headed by Deputy Minister P. Ruan Senrath, and other members of the committee are parliamentarians Chandana Suryararchi, Ajantha Gambadge, Dharmapriya Disanayaka, Dinudu Saman, Lal Premanath, Mohammad Faisal and Geeta Herath. The committee is entrusted with the task of looking into appointments in the government sector, conducting of competitive examinations, any policy changes to be made regarding retirement and vacancies in the government service. It is also empowered to make investigations to identify the proposals to be submitted to the Ministerial Advisory Council. The meeting has also focused attention on the conducting of competitive examinations for the appointment of Grama Niladaris and other officials to fill the vacancies in local government bodies and divisional secretariat divisions.
A special discussion on the Mega Hambantota Town Plan was conducted at the Hambantota District Secretariat Auditorium. An agreement has been reached on this occasion on the procurement of communication facilities and energy needed for the targeted development procedure, as well as to include relevant data. The Minister of Urban Development, Construction and Housing, Anura Kanuratilaka, Deputy Minister T.B. Sarath and Ministry officials also participated in the discussion. The ministry sources say the previous government had handed over a contract to a private company in Singapore for the preparation of the Mega Hambantota plan, as well as for consultancy work for an estimated sum of $1.14 million. The relevant agreement was signed on the 28th of August 2023 and the plan was handed over on the 7th of this month. Officials of the UDA has made a clarification on this plan. Officials of the state institutions providing infrastructure facilities have pointed out on special issues not included in the plan at the meeting. Minister in charge expressing opinion said that the main objective of the plan should have been the development of the port and airport centering upon the tourism industry and also to enhance the living standards of the people through other projects.
And on to more stories here at home. A 2-day-long BIMSTEC digital conclave kicked off yesterday in Colombo with the theme Building Digital Public Infrastructure for Shared Prosperity. The event was inaugurated in the presence of the High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, and Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Indra Mani Pandey. The conclave includes panel discussions in which eminent leaders and experts from digital economy sectors from the region share their insights. Speaking at the event, Santosh Jha highlighted India's journey over the last decade in strengthening digital infrastructure using the JAM Trinity and benefit it had provided to the citizens. Deputy Ministers Eranga Viraratna and Chaturanga Besingha have also attended the event.
Colombo is well suited to host BIMSTEC Digital Conclave as Sri Lanka leads the science, technology and innovation sector. Also, to my best of knowledge, Sri Lanka is the only BIMSTEC member state to have created a separate ministry to promote digital economy. In this context, please also take note that Sri Lanka will be hosting the BIMSTEC Technology Transfer Facility also.
We are here today with a shared vision to harness the digital technologies for economic growth, social inclusive and regional prosperity. Sri Lanka's digital transformation is no longer an option, it's a necessity. Sri Lanka is on a bold journey to build a fully digital and cashless economy, ensuring that technology is accessible to every citizen, business and government service. Our government has outlined a comprehensive digital roadmap that focuses on developing digital public infrastructure to enable secure, scalable and interoperable services, enhancing digital payment ecosystems to accelerate financial inclusion and cross-border trade, leveraging AI, blockchain and cloud technology to modernize governance and public services, promoting digital ID systems to make service access seamless and efficient.
The BIMSTEC means a lot for the region because, as we all know, we have grown in various ways as countries, and we are again, some are behind certain initiatives, but as a whole, we are still nations who are trying to become developed nations. And there's a lot to do in the context of the global economy and also bringing prosperity to our people. And at that context, BIMSTEC plays a significant role in terms of collaboration, in terms of sharing knowledge, technology, economy, and culture. So there's various aspects BIMSTEC is supporting each of these countries.
Let me at the outset congratulate the government of Sri Lanka for the initiatives in the digital sphere launched today, including the GovPay platform for digitization of all government payments and the introduction of electronic birth, marriage and death certificates facility for Sri Lankans abroad. These initiatives form part of the special emphasis laid on digital transformation by the Sri Lankan government led by His Excellency the President Anurakumara Dissanayake. This emphasis, together with Sri Lanka being the BIMSTEC sectoral lead for science, technology and innovation, make Colombo the obvious choice for hosting this digital conclave.
Well, that's news at home. We take a short break and we'll be back with international stories shortly.
Welcome back and on to news away from home. A small plane crashed into a road in Sao Paulo city in Brazil and yesterday killing both people on board and injuring several people on the ground. 6 people sustained minor injuries and were not in serious condition. One of them was a motorcyclist who was passing by. The other 5 were passengers on a bus that was struck by a part of the plane. Sao Paulo's fire department said that the bus on fire and the bus passengers had all escaped the vehicle before the fire started. It's unclear that caused the incident, but the plane appeared to have crashed shortly after taking off. It struck a major road in Barra Fonda neighborhood about 4 miles from the Campo de Marte airport, where the plane took off, and the plane was on its way to Porto, nearly 700 miles south of Sao Paulo. And on to sports news for the night. At the end of the third day's play of the second test of the current series between Sri Lanka and Australia, the Sri Lankan team was in a precarious position, losing 8 wickets for 211 runs in their second innings.
And this very meagre total was in response to Australia's first innings total of a mammoth 414 runs all out. And Sri Lanka team first innings was bundled out for 257 runs. Well, the match is being played at the Galle International Cricket Stadium. At the commencement of play today, the Australian team was in a strong position, having 330 runs for the loss of 3 wickets in their first innings. Steve Smith and Alex Carey were not-out batsmen, securing 120 and 139 runs respectively. Australians have ended their first innings 157 runs ahead of the Sri Lankan total. Prabhat Jayasuriya, Nishan Peris and Ramesh Mendis were the notable Sri Lankan bowlers who had captured all wickets amongst themselves. Well, Sri Lanka's hopes for a formidable total was dashed with the cheap dismissal of Pathum Nissanka and Dimut Karunaratne. Nissanka was out for 8 and Karunaratne for 14. Captain Dhananjay De Silva managed to score 23 and Kusal Mendes was not out on 48. Sri Lanka team is just ahead by 54 runs against the Australian score. Tomorrow is the 4th day of the match and the play starts at 10 a.m.
And the 9th Asian Winter Games inauguration was held in China yesterday, presided over by President Xi Jinping. China hosts this year's winter sports event in Harbin City known as the City of Ice. Many state leaders had also attended the ceremony and Sri Lanka is represented at the tournament by the players Sanjeeva De Silva, Danushka Bandara, Pumi Priyadarshini and Shehan Maduro. They will be competing in the ice ski event at the games scheduled to be concluded on the 14th of this month.
由4名运动员组成，全部参加越野滑雪比赛。
Looks very cold indeed, but mega celebrations. On that note, we end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the programs together with Hesha. This is Clifford wishing you a good night.